If you are looking for a high-performance SUV that is defined by strong acceleration and towing performance, a plush interior, impressive on-road and off-road capabilities, and an abundance of technology, well, you might find yourself seeking out something that's been on my bucket list for quite a long time. It's the 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, the most aggressive high-performance SUV you can get your hands on. And after years of looking for one, my friends at Orr Pre-Owned Super Center here in Shreveport, Louisiana, well, you can see what exactly happened. Let's dig into this and see exactly what it's all about. One thing that I know irks me as an automotive journalist, and probably a lot of you as well, is when you look at the front end of a high-performance vehicle and you see what turn out to be faux vents. Well, that is definitely not what you have here. In fact, everything is functional here. From the lower vents, obviously the grille, you've got the vents right here, and also those heat extractors built into the hood. But I like the fact that obviously you need as much air getting in here as possible. Obviously, Jeep has made that the case. And another thing that gives this Trackhawk such an aggressive stance just when it's sitting still, let alone when it's flying down the road, is the wider body. It's a little bit wider than what you would have on a more traditional Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it just adds to the high performance look. And if you ever walk outside into your driveway or garage and you notice that your headlights are dirty, no problem. You have built-in headlight washers. That's what these little squares are for. And obviously here under the hood, the heart and soul of the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, the 6.2-liter Hemi V8, topped with a supercharger, 707 horsepower, 645 pounds-feet of torque, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. And for people that might say that transmission can't really hold up to the power that this model puts out, that transmission is capable of handling over 800 pounds-feet of torque. That should tell you a lot. And the supercharger is the real trick here. If you're wondering, what exactly is a supercharger? Well, basically it's an air compressor. So what happens is air enters into the supercharger. There are impellers that are turning inside the supercharger. Sometimes they turn towards each other with the roots type. Then you have the screw type where they go in the same direction. But ultimately they funnel the air down to a very small opening to force it into the engine at a high velocity. What does that do? Well, the more air you have, the more fuel you can burn, the more spark you need. Ultimately, the more horsepower you have. This model is all-wheel drive and will flat plant you in the seat. And putting power to the ground via all-wheel drive, the 295/45 tires wrapped around the 20-inch forged aluminum wheels. And you might say, why forged aluminum instead of cast? Because forged is lighter. That's what you want in a situation like this. And for those of you who watch me regularly, I guess you have trained me well, because I know not to forget to tell you whether or not there's a turn signal indicator built into the side view mirrors. Obviously in this case, there is. And in case you're wondering about MPGs, not that anybody driving a Trackhawk really cares, because you'll probably never achieve these numbers. But according to Jeep, 11 miles per gallon city, 17 out on the highway, and 13 combined. But when you have 707 horsepower, who's counting? And while this may be the ultimate high performance, high horsepower pin you to the seat when you launch SUV, that doesn't mean it isn't practical. It can tow up to 7,200 pounds. I mentioned earlier that the towing capacity was actually quite impressive for what it is. And what about cargo capacity? Well, it ranges between 36.3 cubic feet all the way up to 68.3 cubic feet. When you lower these rear seats, there is a removable cargo cover back here. If you need it, you can take that out also. And underneath the floor, you might have noticed when I showed you the undercarriage shot of the Trackhawk, there was no spare tire under there. That's okay, because it's an easier thing to get to, because it's right underneath the floor here in the rear cargo area. And you may wonder what the remote looks like. Well, there's one of the two remotes that comes with the vehicle. This remote unleashes all of the horsepower. If you just want to play with 500, you can use the black remote. And while it may not look like there's a lot of room here in the back seat, there's actually more than it looks like, because the front seats are pretty far back. But I still have plenty of room. Even at that, I'm pretty comfortable. It might get a little strange having the seat that close to me, but most likely I wouldn't be dealing with that driving down the road or riding down the road in that case. There is dual air conditioning vents, quite a bit of connectivity back here on the rear of the center console, and a nice panoramic sunroof. I told you there was a lot of technology here in the interior, and obviously everything you would expect to find. Comfortable seating. You've got very large shifter paddles here on the steering wheel. I must say, I'm really impressed with that. I'd still like to see more vehicles that have shifter paddles that stay affixed to the column, the steering column. So when you're turning the steering wheel, it's just easier to know where you can gear up or gear down real fast. I know that's not common, but personally, as an automotive journalist and really a gearhead, yes, I don't live in the UK, so I don't say petrol head. I had somebody leave a comment about that one time, believe it or not. But I would like to see that be the case. A very nice looking high-tech instrument cluster. You can obviously go through there and make a lot of changes. And then your steering wheel mounted controls, a very comfortable steering wheel, the Trackhawk logo down there on the bottom, and your infotainment screen that offers everything you would expect there. And obviously you have multiple driving modes. Your mode selector is right down here behind the shifter and the cup holders. So multiple driving modes. You have sport, you have track, you can even use auto if you want to. You also have snow and tow mode and a couple of other little goodies there that you can use. You have the ability to launch the Trackhawk, which, oh my goodness, has to be a blast. We'll see about that maybe later in the video. You can also have custom driving mode as well, so that really helps. You've got the oh crap handles at each door, so when you're tracking your Trackhawk, which is actually built not only for the drag strip, it's also at home on the road course. And so if you have your friends and family with you, well, they can reach up and grab those oh crap handles in those appropriate moments. And obviously a lot of space here. You've got your connectivity, all the stuff you would expect to see spaced within the console. But you know what? The main thing here is exactly what we're about to do. Let's go for a test drive. All right, we're getting out on the road for our test drive. And I'll tell you what, I am ready to do a little launch. We're gonna do that up the road a little bit where we have a little more wide open area, but it's just so cool that driving in sport mode, I mean, that wasn't even quarter throttle right there. My goodness. You know, I've come to the conclusion that I'm probably going to need a much larger garage and a whole lot more views on my YouTube videos because my priority right now is building my top dragster. And so that means I can't really buy any toys. But you know what? You know, all of you could help change that. If you see a vehicle you want me to buy, just start giving me more views on my videos and then you can see that happen. But I'm going to tell you what, this Trackhawk is amazing, but I've stepped on it a couple of times, but I haven't launched from a standing stop yet. So we're going to do that here in just a second, and you're going to have a front row seat to see what that looks like. I don't have the camera mounted in the windshield. I don't have it mounted on the sunroof so that you can have a really cool view. If you do this kind of thing, always make sure you're pointed straight before you drop the hammer. Here we go. Wow. Wow. You talk about a punch in the gut. Wow. Definitely what I was hoping to get when I did the Ford Lightning the other day and was hoping to get all that instant torque. But wow, that was awesome. And the cool thing when you need to pass a slower moving vehicle on the road, it's not hard to do. I'm going to tell you what, this is where I need multiple people with cameras around in different places. That would have been a great shot of a launch from the outside. Yes, I need to keep my eyes on the road, I know. But I tell you what, that was really impressive. I can't wait to go back and watch that on the video. But I want to cruise up the road just a little bit more here, maybe get a little bit of experience as to how it handles. I told you how it's great on the drag strip, so it's great for going in a straight line. It's also great for taking corners. If you're a road racer, if you enjoy going out to the road course, you can take this out there and it can do a really good job. I can't say that one place is better than another. Maybe some of you who own these Trackhawks or have owned one in the past can answer down in the comments section, where does it handle best? Is it best on the drag strip? Is it just as good or better on the road course? Well, it's something I can't answer because I don't have experience in both places, and I'm not going to push it that hard here on this test drive. Not only because, well, it doesn't belong to me, but also because I just don't want to do it on the street. But we're going to cruise through my favorite corner in just a second here. Okay, we're going to cruise on up the road here a little bit, and we're almost to the corner. So we're going to see what happens here with this Trackhawk. Just cruising through here. I'm not going ridiculously fast, just a little bit above the speed limit, which is 55 miles an hour. But wow, it's handling this corner really, really well. I'm not used to the steering, or I probably could have handled that a lot better than I did. But one thing I can do is, wow. I mean, even when you're cruising at 60 miles an hour and you drop the hammer, my goodness. Yeah, I think I need to get more YouTube views on my videos so that I can do more than just have a race car. The race car is going to be fun, don't get me wrong, but it would be fun to have something to kind of step on and drop the hammer on when I'm out on the road too. Wow. It was definitely worth the wait to be able to do this. I have been waiting to drive a Trackhawk since I started reviewing cars full-time in 2019. I guess now I can put a big check mark on the screen because I just checked off one of my dream vehicles to review here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel, right off the bucket list, thanks to my friends here at Greg Orr Pre-Owned Super Center in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more about this Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk and maybe come here and buy it, check out the link in the description of the video. If it's still on the website, you'll be able to get to it. And make sure when you come in, you tell whoever you talk to that you've got the idea to come see them from Tom at Vehicle Visionary. I appreciate each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out another of the videos that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.